Good morning, everyone. I'll be recording for a little bit, maybe a bit over an hour. What I'm seeing this morning, immediately getting up, taking a look at the sessions. So far today, we're inside of the previous day. We have yet to hit the low. Well, maybe we actually, no, we hit the low a little bit. But I don't really see that as a draw. I think that we might want to hit it one more time and get beneath it a little bit more so we can sell the idea of the previous day low being broken. And that's what I'll basically be waiting for. If we do that and we come back up, it gives us maybe an entry for a reversal to then go back at the highs. Ultimately, I'm aiming for the buy side liquidity. So 15-minute chart. See these sessions for the day. And we had Asia consolidate. London didn't look bad. There was SMT at the London highs with the Dow. If I show that, so during London session, you see where I show my cursor, right? See how we had that high at 230, and we had the other high at 330, and then you get the 7, around 7 a.m. You get the Dow making the new high, showing divergence ahead of the big drop, and Nasdaq was the one that was beat up the most. Right, the Dow is more of a consolidation, so it dropped, but it dropped beneath this low, and it is beneath that low because it's not as far down. Nasdaq is much more aggressive; it moves a lot more, but so that's sort of what I have in mind for the day. Nothing telling me that we reversed already, and I prefer not to see immediate lower prices right now. I'd like for tomorrow to actually form the high of the week. And looking at today's down close candle, I mean, it's possible we don't really do much, and we could just close in here to fill in that volume imbalance. You see there? There is an inverse fair value gap here that could be supporting price on the daily chart. But I'd like to push up into this high and maybe that volume imbalance and maybe the order block. That's like the last line of defense. But that would be stuff for tomorrow, because there's a lot of news. With the amount of news there is tomorrow, I would expect tomorrow to form the high of the week. Right. So as of now, I'm just waiting for the 9:30 open to see what happens. Yeah. Oh, maybe another thing I didn't mention is the regular trading hours. Alright, so we are a bit of, where are we? I think we're gonna open down here. So, oh yeah, we are. Okay. So we have this huge gap that I noticed, and it's still there even on the electronic trading hours, but on the regular trading hours, it's a bit closer. It's easier to see. But see how we opened up Friday, we left this big gap that is not traded to. All right. We could come back down into that. Right. On the 1 hour chart, it's not very evident because we traded into it. But on the regular trading hours, it's different because 9:30 opened up. It had not formed the gap yet. So this could be a draw, potentially. I'm not saying it is a draw. I'm just saying that I would watch this going on through the week. So it may not be today, but that's an area that I'd like to see price come back and fill. There's a slight volume imbalance there. Could support price if we see one more run beneath. It's not that it has to make another run beneath, it's just I don't really trust it. I see this as just relative equal lows as liquidity, and I want to target that. But we're so beneath the midnight open, it's not worth trying to short down there. So it's higher risk, and it's much easier to be long. I'm just gonna wait till the proper time, which is 9:45. Until then, I'm gonna be probably mostly on mute, and I'll be back then. So here, in my opinion, we're experiencing somewhat of a slow open, and maybe if I show on the Dow, here we're a lot lower. This could be showing now that we see that the 930 actually dipped lower, but the Nasdaq didn't, and the ES. This could be SMT showing a change that we're gonna now target higher, and we might not revisit these levels. So if that is the case, that's okay. It can happen tomorrow. They could leave these levels for tomorrow. I don't know how I feel about taking any trades though. I would want to see some sort of 15-minute hourly level to act as support, and we don't really have that because of this big gap. Maybe if we close up all the way up here and we retrace back into new week opening gap, and then we see another move higher, sure, but we are ahead of FOMC, which is tomorrow. We have news at 9:45 and at 10. So honestly, it could still go lower. Anything could really happen. But I wouldn't be willing to take any trades if it continues to trade higher. Only if it comes back down closer to these lows, then I would be willing to take some trades. But we are ahead of FOMC, so expecting a large range is unrealistic, and it's very possible we just consolidate and stay within Monday's range today, or not go too far from it at least. They were just about 9:45. So, looking at the Dow, seeing how it's still much lower, and the Nasdaq is now leading higher. We could have seen the low, and it could remain here for a little while. I don't really expect to revisit it. Let me look at these side by side. Alright, so you see the heavy divergence. And we can continue like this, and now actually on the hourly chart, price is leaving an order block, it seems like, if it wants to close up here. On the 15-minute chart, will be closing above this, or it did close above that fair value gap. So here's where I could look for a retracement, or to buy off of the retracement, but because we're ahead of FOMC, I don't really feel comfortable doing that. Honestly, I don't know how deep into this order block price can retrace, or if it will form that order block. So I would rather just not do anything. ICT is going to be streaming the index futures, so I would much rather participate in that than participate in a trade I don't feel comfortable taking. So I will still keep recording and keep studying how price acts, but I will not be taking anything today, because the 9:30 open went higher, and I don't want to oppose that because my bias is higher. So that's simply why. what's funny is I opened up ICT's live stream and he gave the definition of low probability. He's looking at the futures right now. And like me, he doesn't like it. So, like, I can see it bounce from here. And now this is me just speaking normally, not, I'm not gonna trade on any of these things. I'm just being me, commenting on the charts without the poker face. But it can bounce from here, from this inverse fair value gap, and go higher. Nothing tells me it will do that yet. But it can also continue going lower, or just probably if it does that, it will just consolidate. As the Dow just looks like no one's home. Look at this. Now I know there's some divergence, with the Dow making lower lows, but this one, sorry, I still speaking. This one is like dead. Someone just forgot to manipulate it today, I guess. But you don't want to be trading that. I don't want to be trading that. Sorry, you can trade it if you want, if anyone's watching. But I don't want to be trading that. And future me did not want to be trading when it's a condition like this. When you have one that's just consolidating, the other one are moving higher. It's going to cause heavy resistance if we're going to continue to rally higher. And I don't know if I was clear as to why I'm not targeting the relative equal lows. That's because we're way beneath midnight open. I also use the 7:30 or the 8:30 open. They're always just the same most of the time, 90% of the time. But we did get above that, but I would want to be shorting above it, and preferably I always like to have the midnight open. So that's another reason I'm not targeting the lows, is that the Dow is being held down, so it'd be easier I would imagine it'd be easier for it to go lower. But because of how far beneath the midnight open we are, I'm not looking to do anything. It can make another run lower to these lows. My opinion, I prefer it leaves it for tomorrow. It does not come back down here. And it just kind of consolidates all day within the Monday range. That's what I would like to see. Right, so there's nothing worth taking any trades on right now. Yeah. The the only thing really worth trading right now, if I'm looking across all the markets, um, commodities are moving a little bit. Crypto is moving a lot. Crypto had really nice price action. If you look at, maybe I'll go fold just really quick. If you look at how Bitcoin had this large fair value gap, it traded into it, and it, over the weekend stayed lower, and we opened up Monday again, made a run higher, above some of the weekend highs, failed to get back above this high to fill in this fair value gap. But Ethereum filled almost this fair value gap here. So Ethereum, if you look at where the low is here, Ethereum was a little bit higher than Bitcoin. So preferably that's not really the one you want to be trading on. Solana, however, you see Solana was a lot more bearish. It, if you look at the high up here, is much more beat down, right, than Ethereum and crypto. If you just look at this consolidation from midway April, right, it's much more beat down towards the low of its consolidation. And so this one was the one that quickly ran up into this fair value gap, not going above the Saturday high. Alright, the Saturday high was protected here, while Ethereum protected its Saturday high too, and quickly ran lower along with Bitcoin and Ethereum. But other than that, like all the other markets, commodities, there seems to be some SMT. Gold isn't really moving. Silver is making a move lower, but gold isn't. So it's just telling me that maybe silver, this is a manipulation. Gold's the stronger one, which usually makes sense. This could be SMT, and we could start to see a move higher. Oil is being beat this morning, so nothing really happening around the markets. If you look at Forex and you look at bonds, it's absolutely dead. I mean, it's very, very boring there, to be honest. There's nothing going on. And yeah. this is not bad. Nothing I want to take a trade on, but you know, we got a 5-minute short high. We're showing displacement, and we're above the 830. Well, we sort of went above the 830 open a little bit, but we're still beneath the midnight open, and the Dow is still being killed. So nothing I want to do, but this would be something to taper, right? Go down to the smaller time frame and look for displacement, right? So this right here, if I had to take something, it would be this. It might not come back though, so how fast it's moving here. So if I had to take something, it would be this. Now I don't really like this because as you see, it's showing speed to get down and then coming right back up. Look at the 5-minute chart. It doesn't look good. It's good that the Dow is retracing a little bit. Sort of seems to be now more in line in what the other indices are doing. We haven't seen any lower prices too, but it's very possible it stays in a consolidation. It one more time goes above that high, and then maybe one more time. And it's just, in my opinion, there's not high probability. See here, I would be, holding on to this, looking at how it's consolidating, and I wouldn't feel comfortable with how it's not really leaving. And you see it's starting to leave, and it would come right back. And I like to see speed. Look at that. I don't want to see that. There's also these fair value gaps down here. It could always come down, and I have to fear it bouncing off of that. So I don't really like this because we're underneath the midnight open. And so, again, that's another reason why we're going to be heavier resistance lower. It's easier for us to go higher above the midnight open. Now it's interesting to see how price reacts to this gap. It's showing it wants to go down there, but those wicks are saying no. It seems like it got through it. And there you go. Alright, so it's not bad. 20 points. Again, it hit. It didn't have to hit. So watch how we did not form that order block. Price closed beneath. Failed to get it even above the high within this candle, and then it did it here, and then it traded lower. Now, the 9 o'clock candle stayed within the 8 o'clock candle. What does that tell you? It tells you price is consolidating. It's staying within a range. So eventually when we get either to the high or low, you might want to target the opposing end because it's staying within this range, and there's going to be liquidity at the high and low because of this. But I don't think I would be doing anything else for the rest of the day. I do want to see if price is going to continue running lower towards the relative equal lows. We are, if I look at I'd expect to kind of consolidate around this 50% level of this big drop, or you could also just do that. I'd expect to come back often to 50% and kind of gravitate towards that. It's always important to look at the daily chart, how we're performing. And here I'm starting to frame long ideas, right? Like within that big range, there was that fair value gap there. But because we were just looking at this move, where did it really go? It just went down to that 5-minute short-term low, which was a catalyst to now this run up. So we're seeing very small moves. We're not seeing daily biases play out where price is clearly manipulating, right? We're not seeing anything like a consolidation and then a clear manipulation, a reversal, and a distribution. We're not seeing any of that. We're just seeing price chop around, get to the high, get the low, retrace, another low, retrace, okay, expand a little bit, retrace. We're seeing prices doing this, and I don't like that. Maybe it's slowly going in one direction, like it might slowly be going higher, but it's not clear, and I don't like to be part of those situations, right? Came back to that gap. I'm gonna remove this. We'll look at the other charts. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna probably close the stream. It's almost 10:30. Usually I only like to trade until 10:30. Sometimes I'll do more, but I have a little bit of studying to do. Maybe before I go, I'll just look at all the other markets. So, commodities. Right, gold has been coming down a little bit. We had a huge run, so that's okay. We could just be selling the idea of a reversal, and then as soon as the central banks want to buy again, it's gonna go right back up. Silver. What's interesting with silver is usually following gold to the upside. When gold rallies, then silver will rally afterwards. So it's not as bullish, right? It could be making the lower low ahead of gold, and gold might not make that lower low. So I would watch that, see if gold makes lower low. So far, I think it will. I don't, the bodies are making lower lows anyways. We would need to be very bullish on gold in order to leave divergence that I would trust. And oil is just getting beat a little bit. A lot of volatility on oil with what's been happening. Especially in Canada, oil is expensive here because of the carbon tax. But nothing too interesting on commodities. Just waiting for volatility tomorrow to potentially give us finally a clear bias on where it's headed. But right now for silver, I would look for this fair value gap. Oil, there's some fair value gaps down here. And gold, I'd look on the weekly chart. And there's a volume imbalance there. It might reach into that. If not, I would just measure 50% and I look for that 50%. See how price trades that. So far, it traded to 25%. You know, buying pressure pushed it up, and 50% would be the next level to see if magically the buyers want to come in and push it up at that level. I'm saying that facetiously, obviously, but this is the inverse dollar, so just -1 times the dollar, so it's inversed. I see the prices are inverse, which means that now if it's going up, the euro should go up. So we've seen a little bit of consolidation, and if you're looking at the dollar regularly, you know, it might be a little bit confusing. Well, I can just invert it. I didn't know I could do that. Okay, well, I didn't have to. I can just keep the normal DXY. I don't need to do that. There you go. So that's much easier. So I'm very bullish on the dollar. The thing is, the dollar is beneath these relative equal lows. I'm expecting a run higher up here. We're seeing a little bit of consolidation, and on the weekly chart, there's a large fair value gap. Anytime now, it can start to run higher. Again, there's a lot of news this week, so it could just be waiting for that news. But until the news comes out, you know, nothing really is telling me that it's gonna move immediately. But I'm just waiting for it. So we'll invert the scale now. For euro all week, I've been looking at this order block since Monday morning. I saw it trade into it at the 10 o'clock hour, and the body's respecting it to, you know, overnight. SMT2 with the Australian dollar. Some people use pound. I use Australian dollar. I think it's moving a little bit better. You see, the Australian dollar is clearly volatile. I mean, it's making nice and big candles, unlike euro. Then I really don't like the pound. I don't know. I don't like how it looks. Too many wicks for me. But the dollar, you know, continues to run lower. It might protect this high here. It might not never go above that high, and just consolidating until the news. The bonds aren't really anything interesting. Nothing telling me here that, you know, we're going to go lower just yet. I am seeing the relative equal lows on the 5-year. I do want to hit those and clear them a little bit. We were 2 ticks away from hitting this one, so I want to see that, and that could help indices go lower eventually. But we are seeing a bit of a decline inside of what looks like a consolidation. And in crypto, obviously, I talked about that a little bit. Sell side liquidity down here. We rallied Bitcoin above the the weekend highs, and then Monday sold off after rallying to the weekend highs. Ethereum failed to do that, and Solana failed to do that, and so we'll see how Solana, we're much closer to the lows, and Ethereum at the same time are much closer to the lows. You see Ethereum relatively more bearish, and if you look at where the bodies are for Bitcoin, Ethereum, we're about the same, to be honest. But that was SMT there, with Ethereum making a lower high and Bitcoin making a higher high. The bodies, however, are still making lower highs. So I mainly look at the bodies. That's the main thing I look at. and the bodies on Solana were much lower. So that's why Solana is the much more bearish one. It's already reached the lowest body on the 4-hour chart. And obviously it has this big wick there. That I'm ignoring that wick. I'm pretending like it's not there. So to me, Solana has basically already reached the lows and could expand past it much more aggressively. And I will be trading crypto for May because it's a trading view tournament in May. I don't think I'm gonna win, but I'm gonna try and do my best. And so I'm just kind of watching crypto a little bit. So anyway, nothing happened since I went on that ramble. It's almost 10:30. I'm just gonna shut it off now. I don't like what it's doing at all. And even though this trade worked, it's okay. I don't mind staying out of it.